But before he can beat a former governor and a former senator who both have a lot of name recognition, so far the Democratic Party hasn't clearly and publicly embraced him. I'm joined now by the Democratic Senate candidate from South Dakota, Rick Weiler. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Let me ask you about this. It seems as if Democrats are on the ropes in trying to hold control of the U.S. Senate. One of the races that they don't have a lot of faith in nationally and they don't talk about much is your race. Why have you had a difficult time convincing Harry Reid and other Senate Democrats to get behind you?
I think that's going to change. You know, as I've gone through all these towns in South Dakota, I mean, the people of my state are really focused on making government work. And what we've had is a situation where this is no longer the land of opportunity, of big hopes and big dreams. It's become the land of big money. And that's, you know, with your opener, you know, that's what I'm talking about. We need to take back our government from this big money that's gotten in the way of good public policy. So as I've traveled to those 287 towns and the 311 communities, and I'm going to do it all over again, that kind of grassroots campaign, that kind of get out there and earn it, look people in the eye, that'll trump big money.
In a small state, I buy that can work, but I'm sure, and I know, and I've heard this from other Democrats, they say, Rick Weiler, nice guy, he's too liberal for South Dakota.
I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. Strong ideas, sitting down with people, looking them in the eye and talking about why you're running and why we need to take our country back from the big money special interests. That'll trump the big money, and he's too liberal for South Dakota. You've seen it happen throughout the history of the Midwestern states. Tom Harkin in Iowa, Tom Daschle in South Dakota, Hubert Humphrey in Minnesota. I mean, there is a demonstrated path to victory for people who are willing to get out there, work hard. I mean, to me, I said the other day, three-word plan, relentless hard work. Go out and visit with the people of your state. And while I'm doing that, Chuck, and I've been into these towns, my likely opponent who you talked about is out shaking down big money in New York and Texas. I think that's going to win this campaign.
Well, let me ask you this on the issue of health care. I think you believe that the health care law didn't go far enough.
That's exactly right.
Tell me what you would have done.
Well, you know what?
Would you have done single payer?
Well, I support making Medicare available to everyone of any age. People should be able to buy into Medicare. And the reason that didn't happen when the Affordable Care Act was being debated and decided out here in Washington, it was because of the big health insurance companies and the big drug companies that didn't want that Medicare option.
You think
they got in the way.
You think they captured President Obama?
They captured the process.
You think he's too captured by special interests?
They captured the process out here and co-opted it with their influence. And I will tell you, having worked for AARP for 1 year in my state, we have 140,000 people on Medicare. They wouldn't give it up for $1 to go over and buy private insurance. And as I've traveled our state asking people whether or not they give up their Medicare now in the last 9 months as I've been going to these towns, people like Medicare. It's simple. It's true. I talked to a woman the other day in a cafe in Wilmot who said it took her 10 minutes to sign up for Medicare. I really do believe we need to bring in some private-public competition. And we don't have that right now. The Affordable Care Act isn't affordable enough, and that's what this Medicare option is going to do.
Let me ask you about Larry Pressler. A lot of people I talk to in South Dakota say to me, he'll take more votes from you, even though he's a former Republican senator, than Rounds, because the issue seems to be he was known to be an Obama supporter, and that the most liberal activist members of the South Dakota Democratic Party like the fact that he helped President Obama.
Well, I don't know that really resonates out there. Senator Pressler was a 3-term Republican senator with a very conservative voting record. I look at this race, if it ends up in the fall where I'm running against a former Republican senator and a former Republican governor, and I'm the only Democrat on the ballot in November, that's going to work to my advantage.
We shall see if you convince the powers that be. Down Pennsylvania Avenue, most Democrats. Rick Weiler, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Be safe on the campaign trail. We'll follow in your race.
All right, thanks.